Yeah, with this being Thanksgiving weekend, our players are out of school this week, so we're treating it kind of like being an NFL team. Um, Earlier in the week, our guys were able to go out and do some community service, which was awesome. Able to get a little bit more rest and recuperation, take care of their bodies, watch a little bit more film, and then we'll practice early today. We'll practice early tomorrow. Get some time with our families for Thanksgiving. Go to the hotel on Friday and get ready to send our seniors out the right way with this Wake Forest game. Really excited. Got a lot of respect for Coach Grobe and what he's been able to do in his time there. Very similar type academic schools. A lot of similar challenges, so a lot of respect for him. Been studying what he's been doing for a very, very long time, and just looking forward to playing this game.
Questions for Coach, press star one, and Coach will start you off with Edward Ashoff of ESPN.com.
Yeah, Coach, can you talk about the...
Hey, Edward, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Good, buddy.
You guys have played pretty well the last 2 years in November. I don't think you've lost a game since your first year. Can you just talk about the mindset that this team has had in the last month of the season, in the last 2 years, and how it's different from the beginning?
Well, there's too many things to point out. I mean, I think that stat is magnified considering that before we arrived here, the 10 years prior to us coming, Vanderbilt was 3-32 in the month of November. So, it's a pretty dramatic stat. I think it's not one thing; it's everything. It's our expectations. It's our strength staff doing a great job, not only in the off season but during the season, and keeping our team strong. It's our players, kind of believing in our system and how we play guys and how we rotate. Our coaches have done a great job of keeping guys fresh by playing too deep throughout the game, so we're fresh in the fourth quarter and we're fresh late in the season. It's how we practice. We're a fundamentalist program, blocking, tackling, catching, running, all those types of things. And I think as the year goes on, we just get better and better.
Well, what does that say to the work ethic of your players to bounce back? 'Cause I know the last couple of years you kind of had sluggish starts, but to go undefeated in this month.
Yeah, I think it's very, very important. I wouldn't really describe it the way you just did, but I think it's very, very important. We talk about Bob Shoop talks all the time about playoff football. Like this time of year is like being in the NFL playoffs, and you want to finish your season out the right way. And our guys just believe in our plan, and they stick with it, and they grind week in and week out. And with that, as the season goes on, we get better. I think we've also done a good job, our strength staff as well as our assistant coaches, in knowing when we have to back off a little bit. That fine line between what's more important, the full speed reps or making sure we make it to the game on Saturdays and those types of things. So I think we find a pretty good balance between the two.
Thanks.
There are additional questions for Coach Franklin. Please press star one now. Next we have David Pascal at Chattanooga Times Free Press.
Hey, Coach, how are you doing?
Good, David. How are you?
Fine, thanks. Hey, I know before you got there for years, Vanderbilt was looking up at Florida and Georgia and Tennessee. You've been able to beat all three of those. I know you preach being 1-0 each week and moving on. I was just kind of curious, how do you think your guys have done after those games? Because I know after Georgia there was a tough game at Texas A&M, and after Florida you didn't get off to the crispest start against Kentucky. Just kind of how you think your kids have responded for these kind of big wins, and do you think they've responded this week in practice?
Yeah, we take the same approach every single week. It never changes. They're all big wins for us. So nothing really ever kind of changes. Our approach doesn't change. The kids' mindset doesn't change. We were able to get a win against Kentucky, and that's all that matters. They're all pretty to us. And, we're looking forward to playing Wake Forest this week. Last week's win was no different than any other win we've had this year. We're excited about it. We're excited at the fact that we were 1-0 last week, but we're focused on being 1-0 this week now.
Do you notice, though, in that when you go back to practice for the first time after a game, can you tell when your players maybe still be or celebrating, or has that not been an issue at all?
Yeah, again, because of our approach, we don't do that. We've pounded it home with them. We will go out in the field, and we're still dealing with the previous game because we have a walkthrough and walkthrough corrections. But once that walkthrough's done, then we flip on to the next game. That's on Sundays. We practice on Sundays here and give our guys off on Monday. So, they've been, they know very, very loud and clear, that's how we approach it. The coaches do the same thing. The only other time it might come up is the Monday press conference that we have. But besides that, everybody else has moved on.